happy, beautiful, rainy Monday. I want to make sure you guys can hear me good. I'm enjoying my view this morning and my cup of coffee featured in one of my mugs that was gifted to me by my daughter. My mug collection is sick. So today's topic, your last week. I'm always thinking, and I was thinking about some of the things that I see happening just kind of in general, you know, the actions that people are taking, the battles that they choose to fight, the relationships that they're willing to sacrifice, just the choices that we make, period. And it just made me wonder, like, if you knew that it was your last week, like, really, when you're sitting alone, like women, we can sit together and do our little hen cackle thing where we talk crap and which man we mad at, which kid we're mad at, who we hate at the job. That's kind of like, quote unquote, kind of like talking shit. It's just what we do. It's a sport, it's entertainment. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's not major, but it's just something that we do. Men do the same things. But when you're alone and you're thinking about these people that you complain about, or these situations or these battles, like, what are you really, really thinking? Like, if it was your last week, if you knew that you were no longer going to be on the face of this earth and this was your last week, how would you handle that week? What would be the priority? Like, what would you want to get done? Like, how much work are we not doing? I'm a parent, many of you are. What kind of things do you want to make sure that your children know before you leave? What kind of things, what kind of setup would you want to see them in? Like, how strong do you want them to be when it comes to relationships, survival? It's a lot going on out in this world. And you want to make sure that they are smart. You want to make sure that they're armed. You want to make sure that they're ready. And I even, as a parent, I even get being tired. It's so much to do to be a parent. But you can't check out. You can't clock out until the job is done. What if you knew this was your last week? What would you want your kids to know? What would you want your mate to know? What about the family members? What about the broken ties and relationships? Would the people that you don't like at work really matter in your real life? In that last week, would they really be the people that you think of? Thank you, cousin. So that was what was on my mind. So if it were your last week, what would be the priority? I think we would do things a lot differently. And I think the reality is that is a very real thought, because you don't know if it's your last week or not. And it could very well be. How many people, I know several people right now fighting cancer, and I know several people who have recently lost that battle. And cancer is one disease that's killing us. What about car accidents, gun violence, drugs, a million other illnesses? You don't know if it's your last week or not. So the I am selfish homework this week is pretend that it is your last week. Like, really, what would you prioritize in your life? What would be really important? Is a grudge really that important? The anger towards someone, or somebody's slight offense towards you, is it really that serious? I don't know, but that's the food for thought this week, and I hope that everybody gives it some serious thought, because we don't know how much time we have. Sylvester, priorities, absolutely. So, give it some thought, pass it on. I just think it's huge and heavy, and sometimes we want to avoid huge and heavy things, but the reality is you don't know if you'll have a chance to deal with this thought tomorrow. So let's deal with it today. And I was thinking about this because I was thinking about my own daughter, and I was thinking, while she's 17, I need to make sure she always keeps too much stuff in her phone. I need some space in her phone in case she needs to be able to record some crap on these streets. So I had to remind her, hey, make sure you back that phone up and empty it out. You need to keep that space. Make sure you don't ever ride around with your car on less than, a quarter tank of gas, ever. Don't half is really the worst case scenario. Just the little tips, the things that they need to know to keep them safe, to keep them aware. It's a lot involved, and not all of it will involve our children. Things for yourself, things that you wish that you had done. That bucket list, I'm really, really guilty of not attacking that bucket list, and I think that we should definitely make sure to make it a priority. So it is just a suggestion. Thanks. I see you guys there. Hey, Trevelia. Hey, Karen. Sylvester. My cousin Ashley says she liked my glasses, y'all. And I'm glad, because I do too. Thank you, boo. I see you, Dee Dee. I see Ken. I see Tyrone. I see Charlotte. Good morning, everybody. Give it some thought. What would you do if this were your last week? And it could be, keep in mind, it could be. Have an amazing week. Keep this thought at the forefront of your mind and act on it.